Early explorers. Early people traveled around to look for food, but they weren't explorers. Explorers go from their homeland to discover something about another place, and then they come back and tell people what they found. Early people. People have lived in most parts of the world for thousands of years. Scientists think that early people started in Africa and traveled to Asia. By about 40,000 years ago, there were people in almost every part of Africa, Asia, and Europe. By about 15,000 years ago, they moved into America. Famous early explorers. Chang Chien was an early explorer from China. He explored many other parts of Asia more than 2,100 years ago. Other people followed his route to trade silk from Asia with things from Europe. The route that he took is now called the Silk Road. Marco Polo was an explorer from Venice, now in Italy. In 1271, he traveled from Europe to China. When he returned to Italy 24 years later, he told people about inventions like paper, money, pasta, and ice cream. From about 1325, a Moroccan explorer, Ibn Battuta, explored North Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. He traveled 120,000 kilometers. Famous ocean explorers. Most early explorers traveled over land, but later, explorers traveled over the ocean. The first explorer to sail from China was Cheng He. In 1405, he sailed south to Indonesia, and then across the Indian Ocean and down the east coast of Africa. A Portuguese explorer, Bartolomeu Dias, was the first explorer to travel west from Europe by ship. In 1488, he sailed from Portugal around the south of Africa. 10 years later, another Portuguese explorer, Vasco da Gama, sailed even further and reached India. Christopher Columbus was an explorer from Genoa, now in Italy. He sailed west from Europe. He reached the West Indies in 1492 and thought he was near India, but he was near a place that no one in Europe knew about, America. A Portuguese explorer called Ferdinand Magellan was the first explorer to travel to Asia by sailing west from Spain. In 1520, he sailed around South America and across the Pacific Ocean. In 1616, some Dutch explorers discovered the west of Australia. In 1642, another Dutch sailor called Abel Tasman discovered New Zealand. Antarctica was the last continent to be explored. A British sailor called James Cook explored a lot of places. In 1773, he was